They all regret coming against me, all of them.
This TikToker right here is a self-proclaimed psychic, and quite recently, she hit a professor with a massive allegation, claiming this professor did some awful things, while claiming to be the hero in all of this, but that couldn't be further from the truth. In today's video, we have a look at the horrific story from start to finish of this TikToker falsely accusing this professor and the lawsuit that took place, and all the details in between.
Now Rebecca is going to be added to that list of regretful people.
Probably one of the most craziest stories, considering this TikToker wanted this lawsuit so badly, but from what she was saying to her actions didn't line up.
Now a professor at the school is suing a TikTok user who claims she was responsible.
So who is this psychic TikToker? Well, Ashley is in the Book of Life, otherwise known as Ashley Giard, and not too long ago went over onto TikTok to use her psychic abilities, the ones that don't exist, in which she posted a series of videos accusing, without giving any evidence, that the professor was somehow tied to the November murders of 4 college students.
I haven't done readings on certain agencies and entities because that's kind of crossing the line, but just know I'm not the only one who suspect Rebecca Schofield.
Professor Rebecca Schofield is Associated Professor of American History, specializing in gender and sexuality in the U.S. West-born and raised in Emmett, Idaho. She is interested in how people enact popular ideas about the West in their everyday lives. This right here was the professor that the TikToker had claimed she was a murderer. And again, remember, these series of TikToks that she made backed nothing up whatsoever, came with not an ounce of proof, and she claimed they were real because, well, she's psychic.
Like, I have physical evidence against Rebecca Schofield that validates everything that I've said about her, but I can't speak on it now because it has to wait for court. So hopefully court doesn't take too long.
But to understand this story further, we have to go back a bit. What was it exactly that she claimed the professor did? Well, on the 13th of November, 2022, 4 Idaho students were found dead. I found this clip from ABC News talking about the case.
It's the chilling last photo of 4 University of Idaho students taken just hours before they were found murdered. They were identified as freshman Ethan Chapin, his girlfriend Zana Kernodle, Kaylee Gonzalez, and Madison Mogan. It's being called a crime of passion. The killer or killers used an edged weapon such as a knife, police just revealed.
Ashley, the TikToker, then claimed that the professor had ordered a hit on these students because of one of the affairs that she had, wanting to keep it secret, obviously. And while these TikToks had been seen millions of times, Ashley did not care. She doubled down, in which a horrific case Ashley used those 4 students, in my opinion, as a stunt to get more views and followers on TikTok. Her TikTok account now has since been taken down because of the accusations simply not being true.
I think this is how y'all want me to feel about a measly ass $75,000 lawsuit that I'm gonna win. Oh my God. Killer Rebecca is suing me.
Now, because this case has been going on for as long as it has, they actually did arrest a suspect for those murders. It was found on the 30th December 2022, Brian Christopher, 28, was arrested in Pennsylvania and charged with the 4 counts of murder. I also found this clip online, a moment a police officer actually pulled over his car to make the arrest.
State police got your license and registration. Yeah, it's a long haul. You guys scared of airplanes?
And would you look at that? Surprise, surprise, it wasn't the same person. The TikToker claimed it was while she used her tarot cards. I know you guys are probably devastated right now in absolute disbelief that a random TikToker with a piece of plastic didn't manage to track down the killer. I know, I couldn't quite believe it myself. But you know what? Just before even being sued and they had found that it wasn't the same person, Ashley here decided to just double down and actually create more TikToks talking about how she is right, even though the police arrested a different person. This is what she said.
But y'all know what? It's light at the end of the tunnel because this is showing a pattern of behavior. So Rebecca Schofield and her team wanted to serve me. They wanted to do something to harm me, to silence me, right? So they contact my ex, so offers him money so that he can do something to betray me for money. Like I said, this lady uses her resources. Are y'all not seeing the pattern? When she wanted something bad, when she wanted to silence Kaylee, she wanted something bad to happen to her, she contacted her ex and offered him money so that he could sacrifice her for his financial gain and for his gain of his career.
Now, one of the things I would like to just butt in and say here is the fact that she likes to use the terminology of silencing people. They tried to silence me. That means I'm right. The funny thing in all of this, if there is anything funny at all, is the fact that Ashley here has actually been going around trying to sue a lot of YouTubers that have been talking about her. Hell, at this point, even the slight mention of her, I wouldn't be surprised if I now get a lawsuit through my letterbox. So when you talk about silencing someone, and then you do the exact same thing that that person is doing to you, how do you not see yourself as being a colossal hypocrite? As she then tries to just double down some more, saying that that's an obvious pattern, that she is right.
Are we not seeing a pattern of behavior here? It's like obvious at this point. She wanted to silence me. She contacts my ex for money so that he can betray me. She wanted to silence Kaylee. She contacts her ex so he can betray her. Past behavior predicts future behavior.
Not by any means of the imagination that the fact that she's spreading these false rumors, greatly affecting someone like that who is a professor and kind of has lifeline and persona on the table out there to be discriminated by this person making up a fabricated story of something that didn't happen. No wonder she's trying to sue you. You're making her look ridiculous, but she can't seem to see this. Now, one of the other things as well is a lot of people were asking for proof. I know, how dare they? Ask for proof. This is how she replied, by the way, to those people's requests, asking for proof.
About me providing evidence to prove that Rebecca Schofield planned, initiated, executed, and ordered the murder of the 4 University of Idaho students, Part 2. It seems to be an impossible task set before me.
Not really. You've hit us and you've dished us with a massive blow to someone's career, stating the fact that they've murdered someone. She's making it sound like it's an unjustified chore, like go tidy your room. Ugh, what an absolute unfair task I have been given in front of me. I'm trying to ruin someone's life and they're asking for evidence? Ugh, you guys starting to see the pattern here? They're trying to silence me.
They're asking me to provide evidence when I don't have the infrastructure to seek the evidence, even if I know that it's there. However, I now have a legal basis to do so and can use that as a means to gather those resources. However, to be asking me for evidence, that's just ludicrous to me.
Yeah, come on guys, grow up would you? Asking the person who is claiming that the professor did it for evidence is ridiculous.
That's just like asking anybody else in the tip line providing the tips that they requested for evidence of their tip. However, with God, with Christ, all things are possible. So we shall see where this goes. I already know. So you shall see.
Did God predict this ratio? Now, after being hit with these accusations, it's understandable that Rebecca Schofield was furious. I mean, would you? A random TikToker on the internet accusing you of one of the worst things with no proof. While people online would believe this rumor, Rebecca Schofield actually decided to try and sue the TikToker for, well, defamation. The TikToker responded with the fact that she was quite happy that she was going to be going to court, almost excited as she was going to come out victorious in this court hearing. Was she going to show the judge one of her Uno reverse tarot card and win the case? Now, despite the TikToker claiming that she was so excited to hear all of this, to hear that she was going to be taken to court, there was a few things that the TikToker didn't do One of those things being send in all the evidence of her side of the story in time. That's right, the most basic thing she didn't even complete. While she was talking a lot of smack over on TikTok on how she was going to win this case no problem, which I must say most people certainly did not believe, because like I've already stated, she has no evidence for any of her claims. But she didn't even back it up to the court. They actually ended up giving her some special treatment and allowed her some extra time for her to submit the evidence in which she had said. I also saw this as well. Schofield's legal team sent a cease and desist letters before the lawsuit moved forward. Garland had responded on TikTok by recording herself going to the bathroom with the letter and saying, "I'll wipe my ass with this." What a lovely girl. Now, with one of their court hearings taking place actually just last month, on the 13th of November 2023, I have some of the case text from the court hearing in which I just want to play out some of the most important parts from that. And this is what they were saying.
Factual and procedural background. This case arises out of the tragic murder of Free University of Idaho students in November 2022. Plaintiff Rebecca Schofield is a professor at the University of Idaho. She alleges that she never met the students and was not involved with their murders in any way. Notwithstanding, plaintiff alleges defendant Ashley Gillard posted over 100 sensational TikTok videos falsely, claiming that she had an inappropriate romantic affair with one of the victims and then ordered the murders to prevent the affair from coming to light. In turn, plaintiff initiated this action on December 21, 2022 DKT1, asserting to defamation claims against defendant. One is premised upon false statements regarding plaintiff's involvement with the murders themselves. The other is premised upon false statements regarding plaintiff's romantic relationship with one of the murdered students. Her TikTok videos claiming that plaintiff had an affair with a student and then ordered the murder of her students to cover up the affair did not actually cause plaintiff to suffer any damages, ma'am. According to defendant, without damages, there is no legitimate amount in controversy and thus no diversity jurisdiction, which I renders the court's August 8, 2023 memorandum decision and order void under Rule 60b-4. NE warrants the dismissal of plaintiff's defamation claims against her under Rule 12b-1. ID. Defendant's argument is without merit. Here, defendant's TikTok videos accuse plaintiff of not only having an improper relationship with a student, but then masterminding the murder of her students to keep that relationship a secret. Plaintiff alleges that these videos are defamatory and that she suffered actual injuries to her life, career, and mental health as a result. Without weighing in on the merits of these claims, it is not unreasonable for plaintiff to seek damages that compensate her for these alleged injuries. Nor is it inconceivable that such damages exceed $75,000 depending on the nature and extent of those the alleged injuries. That the parties dispute the facts informing these aspects of plaintiff's case are not resolved here, but instead must be determined by the trier of fact based upon the evidence. As such, the court cannot find to a legal certainty that plaintiff's claims against defendant are really for less than $75,000 and simply a procedural maneuver to falsely obtain federal jurisdiction. Defendant's motion is denied in this respect. Defendant's TikTok videos were never made in any proceeding that can be understood as judicial in nature, and while statements made to law enforcement may be subject to a qualified privilege, defendant's TikTok videos existed independent of any criminal investigation into the murder of the Free University of Idaho students. That is, the allegedly defamatory statements embedded within defendant's TikTok videos were not relayed just to law enforcement as part of a discrete criminal investigation into the murders. Instead, they were effectively disseminated worldwide. That statements may have also been communicated to law enforcement does not then immunize them, particularly when no charges have ever been brought against plaintiff. She has alleged that defendant made false and defamatory statements implicating plaintiff in a relationship with a student and the murder of her students. that defendant knew her statements were false and that plaintiff was damaged as a result, compel. These allegations support a defamation claim under Idaho law, Clark v. The Spokesman Review. A motion to dismiss is not the proper legal mechanism for substantively challenging those allegations. That is the function of either a motion for summary judgment or, eventually, trial. Until then, defendant's motion is denied in this respect.
And then with finally, award Ashley Gilead all court release fees and sanctions pursuant to Rule 11 in the amount of $1 million. Now, with going through all the transcripts of the court hearing that took place, I think it comes as no surprise that Ashley decided to represent herself, as she seems to double down in the court hearing nonetheless as well, with again not providing any evidence and not understanding how she would have caused the professor any harm in creating, which, by the way, they state, over 100 videos claiming on the actions of what the professor didn't do. This whole thing to me is absolutely wild. An absolutely horrible situation. The fact that a TikToker one day just decided to target this professor for no reason other than her tarot cards told her to, with her videos racking up millions of views and people actually believing her, with that being one of the most shocking parts of this all, turning a already tragic case into a much worse one. People like this just making life a hell of a lot worse and adding nothing to society, apart from inconveniencing people and spreading lies and rumors. Disgusting behavior, as she even tries to double down to this day.